and read the badinage or the back and forth over the fire contract with St. Johnsville, just let me remark that I don't think it was Sarah's job just to stick there and accept whatever terms were dictated to her. She's in a process of negotiation when those things come up, and that's for the benefit of the town, as we all know. When somebody quotes you some figures, you don't necessarily accept them, you start negotiating. And I have negotiated as a small businessman. I had a meeting planning business at one point by changing contracts. So it's not illegal to do that. It's unpleasant for the person that gets the change contract back, because then they have to decide whether they want to go along with that or propose something different. That's not illegal. That's a way that you negotiate sometimes if you haven't been able to reach the person or whatever the issue was. So I don't find that offends me ethically at all.
Okay.
Mr.
Bill, I'll try.
Go ahead. Just one more. I'd really like to see the time clock be put up there at the town barn. I think it'd make it much easier for records in case there's the state wants to audit the records up there. It would show when the men have worked, and of course, if there's a dispute anywhere along the way about hours worked, it's a time clock would certainly prove, to clarify, to rectify any matters that would possibly come up. Other than that, I guess that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. I'll try not to be too verbose, but I got a bunch of stuff I've been saying for a couple of months. We'll just throw it all out now. Okay. First issue, decorum. Before, during, and after meetings. At the last emergency meeting, the town resident called one of our town members an SOB and acted in a really abhorrent manner. It's one thing to voice your opinion, but in this really contentious political atmosphere, we should just stick to facts. Facts are what we deal with. And I know facts, people can be passionate about their points of view, but if we act, Benjamin Franklin said it best. He said, instead of raising your voice, why don't you just reinforce your argument? And I believe that has always been the best way to get something done. So I'd like to please call everyone, have a little more decorum, and if you can't contain yourself, I'm going to ask you not to comment.
I guess I'll apologize.
Okay, next thing, on the building improvements, Neil, I think it's, you and Sarah have been doing a great job. Don't want to pat you on the back.
No.
We've been
no,
accused
that's
of a lot of
what
patting on
That's
the
what
back.
we're here for.
Oh, stop.
Okay, but listen, besides the furnace,
That crap.
there's some public safety issues around the town hall building that I think we need to take care of. Artie can get, when Artie does his bids, not that I condone, we cannot use CHIPS money, but when Artie does his bids, he gets like a dirt cheap price on asphalt, okay? It's around 55 bucks a ton, which we couldn't touch it for under like 80, privately, if we weren't doing our driveway. We should see what it's gonna take, the number of tons to put a 3-inch binder on this parking lot that looks like hell. It's got potholes, it's dangerous, it's got holes. We should just clean it up, get it done, get 3 inches or whatever the recommendation would be. Artie would know because he paves stuff all the time. They pave miles of roads. This is like a little section of road here. Let's get it, we own a roller, let's get it paved, cleaned up so it's safe, and if for some reason we ever in the future, in a few years, ever wanted to sell this building, we've got a parking lot that's not falling apart. Because if we had to excavate and fix the parking lot, it's gonna cost tens of thousands of dollars. It may be less than 5,000 bucks, I think, to get this whole thing paved and line spread. Also, there's not enough light in the back of the parking lot.
I know, I got mugged.
And we should, there you go, see?
See?
Okay, and we should.
It wasn't me.
I know who it
I
was.
really paid attention at the workplace violence.
And we should take care of some extra lighting. It's a minuscule amount of money, but it means a lot, okay? And we should have that done. The other thing is, I'm glad to see that we're doing the air conditioning in central in the central heating ducted system, because not only are those other window units wasteful, but there are security issues. Somebody can get in, okay? Which brings me to my last point. We need some security. We need a very inexpensive security system that has something here. We have, you brought up records. We got people's social security numbers. We may or may not have cash here. We may or not have records that cannot be duplicated. And let's just not think of a break-in. There could be vandalism, there could be a fire again, there could be water damage, there could be a car hitting the building. We need security system that alerts somebody to come and take care of that. All these things are inexpensive and could fit in that amount of allocation, but we need to get on it and we need to make it happen soon. To that matter, I'm a little disappointed. I got, I think some of you have it, but I had requested from the justice for several months and finally got some paper trail here. We didn't submit all our specifications for the grant, which is now 15 months on our watch, plus prior months, until January 18th. We finally got the last specifications for them to start working on the architectural plans. That's unacceptable. If we can't get this in a timely manner, we need to get back the grant. It's kind of embarrassing.
But I don't even know
Okay,
what happened.
No, they're the only one that had it.
Okay, so let me make it, I put requests into the justice every month, and either verbal, but I'm keeping a paper trail on it, so we really know what's going on. We're still not even in process, and may not see architectural plans until April or May. So, for again, the safety concerns that were issued, if we're gonna have safety concerns, we need to be able to fix them immediately. So, I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention.
Okay, so, but finally specs did get,
It looks like it, but now that I have a contact at the Office of Court Administration, I can keep following this and be included on the back and forth. So that's good. So we'll know what's going on and I can ask questions. We have a name, okay?
okay.
Which is, it took a long time to get a name, but I got a name over at the office, okay?
Good work.
Sure. Okay. Next. On this whole, what do I want to call it? Pushback on the fire contracts. I'd like to point out that throughout this entire process, by the way, just for the record, we just authorized you to sign the Canada-Harry contract. I spoke with the chief several times. He never had any problem with our negotiation, and never, there was never an issue that anyone would ever not respond from any of the townships. I applaud you for having the chutzpah to negotiate, because I'm looking at what we pay for fire contracts. We're over the $94,000 mark, okay? And I'll get to more on public safety, but I just want to, for the record, we were never, ever risking anyone's life by not having an executed contract. The contract was not illegally signed because we signed it with a negotiation. When we work on contracts, there's an implied meaning of the minds to begin with, and we're operating under that, okay? So I think if we go through the records, I would also like to point out that in Mr. Dawes' dissertation of certain emails, there was an email from Betty, back and forth exchange from Betty and I, where I pointed out to Betty, who's a multiple electoral council member, that the way to ask for a special meeting is to petition the supervisor directly. And if you don't get a response in 3 days, you may submit it in writing. Am I correct? Yeah. So, it's a red herring issue to say I'm putting in requests for meetings. You know the rules, okay? I also applaud Mr. Dawes because I think he should work for the Psychic Friends Network, because pulling his FOIL request it seems that he knew the contract existed here 4 days prior to any board member being notified. We found out on the 10th, and on the 6th, his FOIL request asked for a copy of the new St. Johnsville fire contract, besides the one that was rejected. And on the 30th of January, that there was a request from the email sent to the board members regarding this, even though that we didn't have the full story of what was happening. So I think that maybe Mr. Dar, if he wants to help the town, could pick our lottery numbers for us next month.
No, everybody likes a little ass, but not a wide ass.
So,
And I'll tell you how I got it.
excuse me,
I
sir,
never-
I have the floor. and
Yeah,
I'll-
you have the floor, right.
You better believe I do. Okay? And if we're gonna deal in facts, that is the facts of what happened. We were unaware. There was never anything by any one of these 4 fire districts that put any member of our constituents at any peril whatsoever. Okay, and I'm tired of it, and news notes imply that it did, and so did that other website, Here We Go, whatever, said the same thing. And I'm not gonna stand for facts or facts, and if you'd like the whole email exchange, I'd be more than happy to provide anything. That's why I set up a communications policy for us to be able to do this, because what it does is it vindicates us in every respect. Okay? Since we're on the issue of public safety, I'm sorry I'm droning on, but we're gonna get to the public safety part right here, okay? Since we're on the part of public safety, when the mayor of St. Johnsville came in, which by the way, it didn't cost the town more money. We gave a donation to help him because it seemed like he was coming here with his hat in his hand, begging for some extra money. And we helped out because what do neighbors do? They help each other out. Okay, it didn't cost us anything. We said we're gonna do this because it's the right thing to do. Okay? Okay? What was missed in the whole exchange is that his 9% increases exponentially. It's the law of 72 for any of you that want to talk about interest rates. And since we want to talk about our fiscal responsibility, if we kept the rate of increase, we would currently we're paying $94,000 for fire services between the 4 municipalities. If we kept the rate of increase without putting it in check, we would be over $1.5 million over the next 10 years. As it is, we're going to be about $1.3 million. Okay? It's funny. I spoke to Richard Kennedy, Senior, not too long ago. He says they had talked about different fire solutions 15 years ago in the town because they saw this coming. Okay? The fact that everyone just keeps passing it on. Our two greatest expenses are highway and fire contracts. They'll be over $10 million over 10 years for our town. It will end up being probably 85% of our budget. Okay, and we owe it to the taxpayers to find a different way. So it was funny that the mayor from St. Johnsville sat across the table from me and said, well, if you don't like paying the money, start your own fire department. There was a huge bunch of chuckles, but he gave me an idea, okay? I spoke to an expert on volunteer fire departments. His name is Chief John Engberg. He is a 35-year-old veteran of the Comac, Long Island, New York Fire Department. He's been on the Board of Fire Commissioners. And he was able to access all our fire records, and he gave us really great insight to public safety in our town. I thought about this after the third house in the past 3 years burnt down to the foundation because of lack of water. And we really do not have the right public safety. He was saying that we're fighting a lot of problems that all towns our size have, which is number one, the average age in the town and average age of the firefighters are 50 plus. We don't have a lot of young volunteers to fight fires, okay? The second thing is that we're a rural town, which means that the response time between the time that the volunteers are called and they receive us gives the fires a head start. Also is that we do not have the resources nor the money to actually start our own fire department. But what we do have is we have leverage. We have $1.3 million that we've been paying out over the next 10 years, say. If we were to ask one of the other fire departments to annex our town to their fire district, 3 of the 4 contracts would end because we would be part of what's called mutual aid. We would become part of one particular fire district. Upon becoming part of that fire district, we'd have resources. We could open up a small substation in our town. We can add 2 trucks for response. Most of this is given grant money by either private foundations or the state. So in essence, this $1.3 million that we would spend over 10 years may go down to $500,000-600,000. I haven't done the full analysis yet, but we're checking into it. I spoke to the Canajoharie Fire Chief. Let me make sure I get his name right. Nestle. Wonderful man. He explained to me his challenges, and he understood what we were trying to do. And when I told him I wasn't thinking of starting a fire department, but I would like to see if we could be annexed, he thought the proposal was intriguing, and we could start a dialogue to see if we could. That would be part of an overview program for public safety, okay? You know, we had a lot of talk in the previous administration about building a building, but it's really, the key issue is not the building. The key issue, if you want to attract residents, you want to keep residents here, we got to have solid town public safety. Now, in order to do this, it's threefold. Number one, we need to figure out what we can do about the fire department. Number two, the biggest problem pointed out here, and he said that he spoke to the previous town board when you were on here, Betty, about a fire pond up by the town barn. Because there's no water and they have to go down to the village. Do you recollect any of that?
I've been after a fire hydrant up there, which they were gonna do.
Well, I'm asking specifically about the fire pond. Do you remember anything at the
I
town
remember
barn?
the fire
Okay,
pond.
so he said that he asked for that, and that there can be hydrants if we can work out an agreement with the Village Canajoharie Water
Which
District.
they already gave us permission that they would do.
Okay, so there could be hydrants at the following roads: Nellis Road, Lower Stone Arabia Road, Hickory Hill Road, and Gerhardt's Road. Having it up at Gerhardt's is a problem because we have a seasonal section of highway, but part of our plan could be taking our CHIPS money and paving that seasonal section to a permanent section. Not only will it improve fire department response from any of the other fire departments, but it will allow us access to water a lot quicker. That would be stage one, would be hydrants. If indeed you said we have the permission, we should go fast track this and get hydrants in those spots, find out what the cost factor is, and either get a grant, raise the money, or work on it. It will help the residents, lower insurance rates, and possibly could save a life. The next thing is fire ponds. The chief said to me it only costs $600 to put a dry hydrant on a fire pond, on a local pond, which is nothing but an empty pipe that the pumpers can suck water from. He recommended we solicit every resident we possibly can for a fire pond and try to see where we can get and how many we can get, and if we can allocate some funds either through grant or wherever we can to get these ponds put into place. So when our friends the Brambles house burned down, they didn't have to go all the way back down 4 miles to get water to bring up 600 gallons or 2,000 gallons of water. They could go to a fire pond and maybe even run it down. I would be more than happy to donate my pond as a fire pond right up where we have. We have a great pond that's there year round. It's within a few hundred feet of the road. They just dig a ditch through my hayfield, put the hydrant up right next to the shoulder of the road. We got a water source, okay? I think it would be wonderful, okay? And the third one, which is, and all these things would allow our residents to have less insurance money, payments. It would allow safer neighborhoods, and it would allow better access for our firefighters that have to come out in these conditions. As far as the long-term plan, I'd like to see anyone here who is here, if they'd like to get a working group together to see on the viability of annexing our fire district, I would take it more. Anyone who wants to join me, I would work, no matter what your political affiliation or how you feel about certain issues of the town. You're all residents to me, and we need to do this. And we can get a work group together, we can see what we can do on public funds, we can get a dialogue going with one of the other districts that would be willing to annex us. And also, if we become our own fire district as an annex, any other firefighters that live in the town of Palatine, no matter what fire company they belong to, by New York State law, become part of our annexed district. So those firefighters would belong to our district now. And that's wonderful because there are many of them, so it's not like we would have to recruit from zero. We would have experienced firefighters. So please come see me. Let's see if we can get a working group together. I'm gonna make this the main focus of this year to get these things done. I'm sorry for my long-winded approach, but you need to know about it. Okay, so thank you.
Any other comments?
Oh, I'm sorry, one quick thing. Did anybody read the article from Montgomery County awarded the grant for a consolidation study?
Yes.
Okay, has anyone been chosen from our town to,
No.
okay. Could we write a letter and ask that someone from our town represent that? Us?
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Let's,